My name is Karen, and for the past 6 years I've been married to Mark, a man who brought love, laughter, and a sense of calm back into my life. When I said I do, it wasn't just to him. I was also committing to his son, Daniel. At that time, Daniel was 15, quiet, polite, and distant. There was always something unreadable in his eyes, as if he carried feelings too heavy to share. Becoming a stepmother was something I never pictured for myself. When Mark and I grew serious, I was terrified. Would Daniel accept me? Would he see me as a stranger trying to take his mother's place? I made a silent promise that I would never try to replace her. His mom had passed away when he was just 12, and I knew that void in his heart was sacred. My goal wasn't to fill it, it was to be a steady, safe presence he could trust. Over time, Daniel slowly began to open up. It didn't happen overnight, it came through small gestures, the times he'd ask me for a ride to school when Mark left early, or when he'd hand me a fork and ask if his scrambled eggs tasted okay. He wasn't an expressive kid, but with each of those moments I could sense the walls between us lowering bit by bit. Now Daniel is 21, taller than both of us, strong, thoughtful, and still somewhat guarded. He's studying psychology in college, which always makes me smile because truthfully I think he's still trying to understand his own emotions. He spends long hours reading, writing, and reflecting. Every so often I find him by the window, staring into the distance as if searching for something beyond reach. Then came a day that changed everything between us. It was a warm, sunny Saturday afternoon. Mark had gone out to run errands, and I was folding laundry when I realized Daniel hadn't come out of his room all day. Normally, even during heavy study sessions, he'd step out for food or coffee. Something in my gut told me to check on him, not out of worry, but from that instinct parents develop over time. I walked quietly down the hall. His door was cracked open, soft music playing inside. I hesitated. He was an adult, and I respected his privacy, but something urged me forward. When I gently nudged the door open, what I saw stopped me cold. Daniel wasn't doing anything wrong. He was sitting at his desk, head in his hands, shoulders trembling. His laptop screen glowed with paragraphs of text, and tears glistened on his cheeks. My strong, stoic stepson was crying, completely unaware of my presence. For a second, I froze. Should I turn back? Pretend I hadn't seen? But seeing him like that, so vulnerable, so human, broke something open in me. I stepped forward softly. "Daniel," I said. He jerked around, wiping his face in a hurry. "Oh, hey, Karen," he muttered, voice rough. "Didn't hear you." I gave him a gentle smile. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just hadn't seen you today and wanted to make sure you were okay." He shook his head, avoiding my gaze. Yeah, I'm fine. Just working on something." But his voice cracked, and that small tremor told me everything. I walked closer, keeping my tone soft. "You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. But if you do, I'm here." Silence filled the room, broken only by the faint music. Then he looked at me, really looked at me, and for the first time in years I saw the boy who had lost his mother too soon. His eyes filled again, and in a trembling whisper he said, "I miss her." Those 3 words nearly shattered me. I sat beside him and placed my hand gently on his. "Your mom?" I asked, though I already knew. He nodded, tears sliding down his face. "It's been almost 10 years, but some days it feels like yesterday. I've tried to be strong for Dad, for myself, but the emptiness never goes away. And I feel guilty for still missing her this much." My throat tightened as I squeezed his hand. "Missing her doesn't mean you haven't moved forward, Daniel. It means she mattered, that you loved her deeply. That love doesn't disappear over time. It just changes form." He took a shaky breath. "I can't even remember her voice anymore. Isn't that awful? I can still see her face, but her voice is gone." I reached out and pulled him into a hug. He stiffened at first, then melted into my arms. Years of unspoken pain came pouring out as he sobbed, and I held him close, whispering, "It's not awful. It's human. And you don't have to carry it alone anymore." That moment changed everything. For years, Daniel had buried his grief, convinced he had to face it alone. But that afternoon, when I walked into his room, something shifted. The barrier between us finally broke. After that day, he started opening up more about his mother, college stress, and the loneliness he sometimes felt. I listened, comforted, and reminded him again and again that he wasn't alone. Our bond grew stronger. He began to see me not as someone taking his mother's place, but as another person in his life who cared for him deeply. Looking back now, I realize that life's most meaningful moments often come unplanned. I hadn't meant to walk in on him that day, but maybe it was meant to happen. Maybe we both needed it, for him to release years of buried pain and for me to truly step into my role as his stepmother. Not to replace his mom, but to honor her through how I love her son. To this day, I thank God for that afternoon, because what could have been an awkward intrusion became the moment that finally brought us closer than ever.